Today I want to talk to you about projects or things to do around the home if you are planning to sell your home in the near future. Welcome to Behind the Sold Sign. I'm Logan Queen with the Queen team and RE/MAX Professionals here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I get this question all the time from my sellers. What kind of things should we do to our home in order to make it more presentable or ready for sale? The big overarching thing is every house is different, and no two houses are going to need the same amount of work, the same amount of changes, the same amount of prep in order to hit the market. Especially in a market right now that we're in with a seller's market, you may not need to do that much. It really does come down to strategy, it comes down to marketing, it comes down to pricing. So there's a lot of things to factor in, but if you are thinking about doing some projects around the house to elevate your value so that when you do sell, you can potentially sell it for a better profit, those are the items that we're gonna focus on here. Something that people really don't pay that much attention to, especially in like the winter in Winnipeg, which is a big portion and kind of where we're heading into right now, is curb appeal. But people do get a sense of your home the first moment they pull up. If they are pulling up and they are trying to find the front door, it's covered in bushes, or the grass is 3 feet long, I mean, those are easy things to fix. You know, whether it's yourself or, you know, if you have mobility issues or something like that, we can always hire someone to help. So curb appeal, you know, how's the paint around your house? How are the shingles looking? Like, if someone walks up to your house, are they looking like, oh, somebody is taking care of this property? Or is the question, is this a dilapidated home? Curb appeal is a big factor. And it doesn't necessarily have to be really expensive. I mean, you can do a facelift of your existing siding by, you know, painting, cleaning sometimes. It's just dirt, right? It depends on what kind of siding you have, what kind of exterior you have, stucco, wood, everything takes a different kind of maintenance, takes a different kind of work. So it really comes down to knowing what to do to make it look nice and pop. I mean, honestly, overgrown trees and, you know, deep snow banks or unshoveled driveways, things like that don't help when you're trying to get good curb appeal right up front of your home. You know, burnt out exterior lights if showings are happening at nighttime, all sorts of stuff like that. Just small maintenance items just to make sure that the exterior of the home looks presentable. Obviously, there's no way to talk about updates to homes without talking about kitchens. Now, I know that that's a hot topic maybe because kitchens can be very expensive. You know, if you have an old kitchen, does it make sense for you to put a brand new kitchen in to sell your home? The chances are likely not. You probably want to be doing big renovations like that in order to live with it for a little while. And then if you're thinking about selling, because there's kind of two sides to that. You don't really want to do a quick, cheap kitchen flip and reno, because people can tell. People can tell when, you know, cabinetry was cheaply paid for or cheaply installed. You know, they can tell if the quality of the product that you put in is not very good. So it's one of those things that, yeah, you can absolutely elevate the property by renovating your kitchen, but it has to also be done well, because one thing that is a big struggle here is that we do see flipping, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just how a house is flipped and how well the work was done will really tell you whether people are interested. Everybody loves the pictures. Like, a flip looks great from the photos. You're gonna get bodies in, but is anybody really willing to purchase? That's where it comes down to, was the work done correctly? Do people feel like you're hiding anything? Why was this work done right now? You know, it's all just things when people can't put the picture together, it's harder to sell. So, but absolutely, nice kitchens do wonders for your value. People don't want to renovate a kitchen on their own. They would much rather move into a home with a nicely renovated kitchen that they can maybe do a couple tweaks and make it their own. And again, this isn't everybody. Some people do want to take those projects on, but I would say the vast majority want a finished kitchen that they don't need to touch. If you have, you know, maybe the kitchen flooring needs to be redone. Maybe the appliances are really beat up and worn out, or you know, the lighting or something. Like there are little things that you can do in your kitchen that don't necessarily cost a fortune, but could potentially pay you dividends back. You know, beat up, dented appliances, if you can replace them with something that's nice, great. I'm not saying it's gonna bring you a ton of value, but people do care about how a house is maintained and how things are taken care of. If you have a way to increase the value without doing a massive renovation, like some people do a really good paint on their cabinetry. It's not a permanent fix necessarily, but if you have very dated cabinetry that is hardwood and will hold a paint well, you could get away with painting them a lot cheaper than replacing the cabinets or redoing your entire kitchen, and it could do quite a nice facelift on an older kitchen. So it could be an option. You may want to talk to somebody who knows their paint or is good with renovations and knows what will take or will not. Some stuff won't hold paint well, so it would almost look like lipstick on a pig, but it is something that you could do to elevate your value in the kitchen. Or wall paint. If your kitchen is a very dark, you know, like when we moved into our house, it was a really dark rust red. I couldn't stand it. It was like one of the first things I changed was brightening up our kitchen. So it's one of those things where, is it the end of the world? No, paint is paint. You can definitely change it, but will your house show a lot better without, you know, a light gray or a whiter or a lighter coat of paint than like a very dark color? Absolutely. Not only do people prefer a lighter space right now, but they also have reservations about how much work it's going to be to paint over darker colors. So whether that be time or money, people do have reservations on that. So yeah, brighten things up if you can. That would elevate for sure. Bathrooms are the other place that people, you know, like having done, because these are items that are a headache to do, right? You got to deal with permitting typically. You've got to take out big fixtures like toilets, sinks, showers, potentially. So they're not just simple, easy fixes. So if you've got a really tired vanity that, you know, has cracks in it, or the thing's just never working the right way, think about replacing it. If you're, you know, look at your shower or your tub, look at the grout or the caulking and see if you need to replace those things. If they're like black and moldy and gross, replace them. These are things that you should prep and do ahead of time. This should be ready for a showings and will definitely bring you more interest than people who come in and see that it just hasn't been maintained. Throughout the whole house, clutter is the hardest thing to see through for most people. It is very hard for a purchaser to see themselves in a home when they can't see past your stuff. So the best houses, honestly, the ones that do the best are almost ones that are staged, because people can see the property, they can see a layout, but there's not all the stuff there to make it somebody else's personal space. It's there as almost a blank canvas and people can really envision themselves in it. Does that mean you should pay for some high-end staging of your home? Not necessarily. There are different ways to stage your home. You can certainly declutter, put stuff away, you know, put it in a bit of a storage area for the time being that you are on the market, just to make it feel for prospective buyers that this could be their home. That will very easily help you get people through, get more interest, and potentially get better offers on your property. I mentioned paint in like the kitchen or bathroom, but honestly, throughout the home, even as curb appeal, the exterior. If you have, you know, peeling paint, or the paint just looks tired, or you have staining on the walls, or whatever it is, especially like baseboards and stuff like that that typically tend to get beat up, a fresh coat of paint on some of those items can go a long way to spruce up the house, make it look a bit more refined, a bit more finished, and make it look like you are maintaining it and take care of it. I'm not saying that you may or may not, but these are all things to help boost that, that first viewing or that first time people see it. It's always the first impression. And if they're seeing something that they feel like has been maintained or they feel like it's in good condition, it gives them a better chance to offer or to like what they're seeing. Maintenance work. If you have history of like windows being replaced, the shingles being replaced, if you have documentation for anything, put it out, keep it, show it to prospective buyers. Especially stuff if it's fairly recent. Long ways back, if it's 20 years ago, may not really matter, but if you replace the shingles 10 years ago, that's a good thing to have a receipt or an invoice for, to show that, they're 10 years old, but they still have plenty of life in them. This is who we did it through, potentially get a warranty, whatever it ends up being. Any of the maintenance things you do through the home, just showing that you have done them or that you are keeping on top of it is really important. But then also actually doing the maintenance stuff as you go. Springtime or summer in Winnipeg, like you want to make sure the grade around your house is good, your eaves trough, all the things that you would typically do as just a homeowner to make sure that your home is in good condition. Make sure that all those little items are ready to go for when you sell. I've had clients get the windows cleaned, get the interior exterior windows cleaned, yard cleanup, all sorts of stuff like that, just to make it spruce up the place, make it so that you want to put your best foot forward, and those are some of the items that will do it. When people are showing homes that aren't theirs, if they see that things feel like they're, like if you go to turn the handle on the tap and it's loose, like people are like, well, why is this loose? Like it's all perspective and it's all first impression. And if you can show that you maintain your property, that you care about your property, it makes people a lot more comfortable about purchasing your property versus something else if it was not as well maintained or not as, updated, or like things just look tired. It's really one of those things that the buyers love to come in and see a nice, bright space, clean, and well-maintained. As I said before, every home is gonna have a very different set of requirements for how to prep it for sale. A lot of these are generally gonna elevate the value. Any of this stuff that we've talked about here, if you do any of this, it will help you at least get bodies through. The more people you're getting through, the better chance you have of selling for a better number. But again, it comes down to strategy, it comes down to when you list, how you list, all that type of stuff as well. But like I said many times already, putting your best foot forward is the best way to show people that you care about your home, to get them interested in your home, and to get them writing offers on your home. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any other questions about what you want to do or could do to get your home prepped, feel free to reach out to me, Logan Queen, or our team, the Queen team, and let us know. We'd be happy to help assist and help to give you some information on what you can do for your specific home. Thanks for stopping in today.